Welcome to the Land Cruiser Project. What we do here on this channel is we review the listings from Bring a Trailer and Cars and Bids and other places online, and we look at 80 series, 100 series, and 200 series Land Cruisers, and we go through the listings looking for common issues, looking for maybe things that aren't being disclosed, and just kind of overall checking out the condition of the truck. And the reason we do this is to provide you with a little bit more information should you be in the market to buy one of these, but also just to help inform you and make sure you don't get ripped off. So let's go ahead and look at the vehicle we're going to study today. It is a 2006 Lexus LX470. It's got 45,000 miles, which sounds amazing. Let's see. Yeah, that's not very many miles per year. Mostly probably sat in a garage. We'll see. But it's already been up to $20,000 and it's got 5 days left. All right, so it's this beautiful white color, but let's go ahead and look at the overview and see what information we can glean about this truck. All right, so 45,000 miles. Looks like it's located in Darien, Wisconsin. Let's see, out of the ordinary, I don't see anything here on the right. Looks like, most of these, it was, kind of fully spec'd. Looks like it's got the adjustable height control, or AHC, which coincidentally, not to go on too big of a diversion, in 2008, right, so the first year of the 200 series, it changed from adjustable height control to like active height control, I think. Anyway, it's just kind of interesting how the names change. So nothing else there on the right. Let's go through the information here on the left. Let's see. So it's got the ivory leather, adjustable height control. 45,000 miles following registration history in New York, New Jersey, and Washington. All right, so some of those states I'm kind of like red flagging. Vehicles I've seen, even with super low miles that have been in those states, sometimes they bought them just to use in those like snowy, salty conditions. So I know I'm holding my breath here, but it was recently acquired by the selling dealer, who notes the serpentine belt was replaced in preparation for the sale, along with the rear brake components. So it's offered by the selling dealer in Wisconsin with a clean CarFax report and a clean Washington title. All right, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, I know sometimes, selling dealers don't need to, retitle a vehicle. I'd presume that's what's going on there. But anyway, so it's got crystal white color. It's got the sunroof, projector style headlights. Remember, this is a 2006, so this is one of the two last years of the 100 series. It's got updated lights, and it's kind of like the latest and greatest for this generation. Imperfections include chips in the nose and the right side cladding. So one important note to make versus the regular Land Cruiser from this generation, the plastic cladding, starts at this kind of, belt level, and then goes all the way down to the bottom of the door. Very similar to like my Lexus LS470, but remember on the Land Cruiser, it just goes, part of the way down. It's just a little strip. And then underneath that, there's, holes for these, things to clip into, so that, the doors are all different. And then you also get everything kind of painted the same color. So you get the white front and rear bumpers and the roof rack. Let's see, it's got 18-inch, wheels with, looks like, Goodyear Wrangler, more or less, highway tires that are relatively new. And let's see, another comment about the brakes. Let's see, it's got the wood trimmed interior, and let's see, the selling dealer notes signs of wear in the cabin. Let's see, the speaker cover in the left rear door is loose. Okay, so we'll take a look at that. Looks like it's also, just from looking at this photo, looks like the mesh, or the fabric over the front passenger speaker is missing as well. It shouldn't be that gray color. All right, anything else? No. All right, engine bay, ooh, lots of corrosion. That'll be fun to look at later. The sailing dealer, okay, we already went over that. All right, anything else here? No. All right, let's go ahead and look at the CarFax. Let's see. So with mileage this low, obviously have your radar up for, maybe, mileage, rollback, things like that. It's not always the case, but make sure it's not too good to be true. But originally sold out of New York. Let's see, and it was there. All this mileage is counting up nicely. Yeah. Yep. This is what, roughly like 3,000 miles a year. So after, let's see, that's 14-ish years and 40,000 miles. So the majority of the mileage was put in New York. It looks like New Jersey, and then it went to Pennsylvania. And then in 2020, it went to Washington. It was in the Gig Harbor area for just a short time. And then, a little bit longer. So almost for 2 years, and didn't really see much more mileage. And then we've got an auto auction still in Washington in January of 2023. And then here it is in March, with just a note there, no maintenance there, mileage. So that's actually just probably like an advertisement. All right. So in January it was in Washington. So if you pull this up on Google, you do see that there's like an I Hate Mud forum thread on it. So just looking at this back in February of 2020, it looks like this was for sale. It was on Auto Trader. The VIN is the same VIN, and it looks like they were trying to sell it for 25,000 miles. So let's just go ahead and line that up with the CarFax. So we're talking about, my short-term memory sucks, February of 2020. So in February of 2020 is about the time, this was offered for sale out of New Jersey. So it looks like, whoever bought it, is paying roughly this, $25,000. Anyway, there's some discussion about rust and so on. So definitely read that if you're interested in this vehicle. Pulling it up in vehiclehistory.com yields a couple historical sales listings. It doesn't actually produce any pictures really, but we see, coming back in, let's see, get these in the right order. These are all 2023. So this one right here is what we're looking at. Corresponds roughly to that February 2020 sell at about 25 grand and 41,000 miles. And then it looks like just recently they were trying to get either 30,000 or 35,000. Interesting that the price went up after a couple days. So 35 might be what they're targeting. It is a reserve auction, so I would suspect that 25-ish is going to be the reserve on this. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the photos. And one other thing on the CarFax, let's just double check. I didn't see a notice or a mention of timing belt. I don't see it, in the CarFax either. All right, so let's go ahead and look at these pictures. The first thing that calls my attention is a slight color difference in this little valence panel that surrounds the headlights. You can see, between here and the hood, the lower panels may be a little bit brighter. I see a little like misalignment on the centerpiece. And then the color is particularly jarring here on the driver's side, in between the fender and that piece in the bumper. Looks a little out of place. Not sure if I'd make anything of it yet. I don't know, but there's just looks like a color difference. Otherwise, the lines look pretty good. Maybe a little bit of a bulge in the bumper cover towards the center. I don't know if that's kind of normal for these, but gaps and colors through the back side of the the passenger or the driver's side, those look good. Wheels look good, at least from this distance. With a little bit more brightness, you can't really tell the difference there in that by that front driver headlight. So maybe it's nothing, but worth checking out. But you could also note that the running board's kind of like that same brighter color, so it could just be, I would assume that these are on the front around the headlights. That's metal, whereas the the running boards would be plastic. But it looks pretty good across this driver's side. Back looks good. It's missing the little cover, so this hole is used for lowering the spare. It's just missing that little cover. But it looks good from back here. Looking at the rear hitch, this is the original Toyota hitch. The sticker looks weathered. Doesn't look painted over. So if you're worried about corrosion, maybe it's not a thing. But more pictures will definitely tell a better story. Moving to the passenger side, nothing really jumping out at me there. Everything looks, relatively straight and orderly. Yep. All right, moving to the front passenger side. Hard to tell if there's a color difference, on this valence panel. So that could help you, understand if there's been, like a full front, maybe accident where, things were damaged, like the grill and those valence panels and the bumper. If it was, across the whole front or just like one corner over the other, but I can't tell from these photos. Yeah, it's definitely like this angle gives it very much like a GX look, doesn't it? Yeah, in the light of this garage, that white definitely stands out a little bit more to me. Yeah, the detail shot here doesn't really produce anything else. Yeah, worrisome, like I'm not seeing overspray, things of that nature. Yeah. Seeing the oxidation in the fog light, yeah, further is evidence that there's kind of nothing goofy going on. But I don't know. Right, moving to the roof. Let me take a peek at that. Yeah, sometimes these, the weather stripping through here can leave some staining. Yeah, not worried about that. That looks fine. All right, driver door clean. Not really any scratch marks on the door handles. It looks pretty good. Nice pearl paint. I'm curious about this right above this little molding. Yep, I don't know. Nothing there. And again, don't forget when you see stuff like this, you can kind of get an idea as to where the vehicle's been, without having to run like a CarFax or even load it into Toyota's website. Yeah, moving to the passenger side, looks pretty good. This this trim here feels like it's sticking a little bit back. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like it's just kind of, maybe not adhered as tightly as it used to. Maybe some scratches here on the front passenger fender. There's some detail shots of some scratches on this lower cladding that was mentioned in the ad, and some scratches in the running board. Looking at the colors with this detailed shot, you can see a nice, chip here in the front passenger fender. I feel like the fender's kind of dipping down and the hood's coming up. Did we get a good photo of that? Maybe the hood's sitting a little high on this passenger side. Yeah, I wish there was a shot like up here right at the tip. Maybe we'll get one. But going back to the color of the valence panel, like this one, we're not seeing that color difference. So yeah, definitely a head scratcher there. Yeah, in this, I think this fender definitely caught something and it's kind of, pushed in just a little bit. Oh, and he points it out. See, this is horrible. Don't put your finger there because he's covering up the worst of it. So he's covering up how misaligned it is. His finger needs to be over on this side so you can see, how far tucked in that is. Yeah, that's kind of a stupid photo there. All right, wheels look good. Don't lose sight of what's behind. The frame looks pretty good back there. It's got the shields. See a little corrosion on the the caliper assembly, but nothing too significant. All right, moving to the passenger or the driver door and moving to the interior. So these Lexus products are all going to have like the automatic seats, with the seat memory. It's kind of a nice, luxury feature, and then you can, see the Lexus, the leather trim. It's all very nice. And then there's like far more sound deadening on these panels for the Lexus than there are on the Land Cruiser. So it definitely inside, rides as a quieter, more refined product. But steering wheel looks good. Sometimes, it can lose the color. And you can see it's kind of done that a little bit. It's kind of like faded out, especially here on like the top half of the steering wheel. That never has really bothered me. And you can see the leather's like in, an okay shape. Looks like the owner for most of the years, kept their hand on it on the left side. So you can see the leather, kind of color deterioration there more than you can on the right. But otherwise, yeah, the carpet, from what I can see, looks pretty good. Idle level for, yeah, operating temperature, that looks about normal. And then, yeah, 44,912 miles. You can see the height control indicating it's in like neutral mode. That's definitely something, especially if it's been in the rust belt. Definitely something to make sure that the adjustable height control works at all settings. Little staining on this plastic. Again, not a big deal, but just something I noticed. And yeah, I wish these didn't have the nav unit. I mean, that just looks so outdated and archaic. And I know you can just turn it off, but it's a pain that the HVAC controls are put into it. Definitely double check that the diff lock works, the center diff lock. But yeah, otherwise this looks pretty clean in there. Very little wear, like on the shifter handle. Even the center console looks great. All right, yeah, floor mats look a little gross. So one indication on corrosion is just looking at this little ring. You can see it's kind of like, greened out. So definitely a warning sign for me. Another thing, somehow, especially on cars without covers here on the seat mount, yeah, these bolts can rust out. It's less of an issue on these because these bolts don't actually go all the way through the body, but like on an older like 4Runner or even like a Subaru Impreza, like an old WRX, like a 2000s WRX, those bolts go all the way through the floor, and yeah, like the bracket and the bolt, yeah, it all gets rusted out. Yeah, it looks pretty clean. I mentioned earlier in the other video on the 100 series Land Cruiser, yeah, the later years, would have had the at least the option to get the side airbags. So this vehicle has that, and probably the curtain airbags as well. Looking at this photo, just not seeing evidence of repaint and paintless dent repair. These pins need to be, you can see how the middle part's pushed in. Yeah, so these need to be, pulled out. Yeah, push that middle part back in, and then, yeah, redo the process. Also note the VIN sticker here. In the later years, Toyota has been using black stickers instead of the original white stickers. But armrest leather, I mean, these door cards look like they're pretty good. Yeah, do note that, let me go back and show the the driver door. Sorry, epilepsy warning. Yeah, you can see there's the fabric over the speaker cover. And then if we come again back to the passenger side door, as I mentioned earlier, you can see that cover, the mesh is gone. I think somebody, if they could find like a nice fabric that matched, the original, yeah, somebody in this space, in the Line Cruiser space, could yeah, provide, like already pre-cut things that you just kind of like tuck in there and put a little adhesive on. It'd be a good little gig. I noted a little ding here in the door card, but yeah, overall looks good. Also checking the these bolts, you can tell they've never been turned. It's all original. Yeah, overall this is pretty clean. The interior looks good. They have these floor mats. They're really dark. That's weird. I feel like it's even darker than the passenger or the driver one. I don't know why I keep getting passenger and driver confused. Yeah, looks pretty clean. Dash looks good. Yeah, no real wear on the control surfaces. A little bit of dirt and grime and stuff. I don't know what causes you. I don't know if they've had something on this visor, but I don't know why this edge has been worn down a little bit. All right, moving to the back door, you can see the speaker cover, that material kind of peeling back a little bit. All you really need to do is just grab like a little plastic pry tool, stretch that fabric down and tuck it back under. It'll stay, and will be good for another couple years, probably another decade. You can see how those push pins are supposed to be. Not a big deal, but yeah, that might indicate on that other door that door card's been off for some reason. It wouldn't be unheard of for the door lock actuators to have gone out on this. But nice and clean here. Yeah, nothing really to note. That seatbelt looks gross. How do seatbelts get gross? Can somebody leave a comment? Is your seatbelt gross? What do you do? How does that happen? You can compare it to the rear ones, like they're nice and clean. Yeah, rear seat, second row looks like it's never been used. Back to the discussion about rust, seeing this all being like nice and clean and not seeing, really anything going on, that's very comforting. I am very curious to see what the undercarriage is going to look like. This sticker about second seat operations pulling away. I'm curious. I saw the courtesy light on that passenger rear door. Is it on? It's hard to tell if it's on. Sometimes those bulbs can burn out, but anyway. All right, let's get back to it. Similar shot on this passenger side. You can see how what I was talking about, this plastic cladding is kind of peeling away a little bit. Could probably use just a little bit more adhesive. Just looks a little out of place, but not seeing any corrosion there. That looks good. I do see some weird. This paint looks weird for some reason. Seeing the little specks here, but also there's like a little color difference and like a weird texture. That's curious to me. You can see it in the bottom of this photo here. All right, so maybe a little warning sign, perhaps. I mean, we already saw that like quick shot of the engine bay. That wasn't promising. But the body overall looks good. Oh, another thing, you see these little insignias, these little symbols in the carpet. So this is for the, like in later years, I think it was like 2004 or so, into newer, they included tether points for car seats. So yeah, some people, they actually want, like the older third row seats and second row seats for their earlier, like 98, 99, 2000 Land Cruiser. So don't just pitch those if you're done with them. I do like there's like a velour and kind of like Alcantara look to the to these panels on the Lexus. Like on my Land Cruiser, it's just like a hard plastic. I'm sure that cuts down on sound a bunch, but probably collects a bunch of dirt and dust. But it does give it a nice look. Yeah, rear cargo area looks pretty good. Let's get these seats out of the way. VIN sticker on the lower tailgate. Yes, we didn't really get a good photo of the cargo area with all the seats, tucked up out of the way. So don't really have a sense for the condition of the carpet and stuff back there. All right, moving to the engine bay. Seeing corrosion on these fasteners is not promising. Seeing the corrosion on the clamps for these hoses and also on the like the neck itself. A little concerning. Thermostat housing being all corroded. Yep, I'm nervous. These brackets down here that attach to the wheel well, that's very common for them to kind of get rusty. Good indication on the bolts here on the firewall, so kind of mixed. Corrosion here on the brake booster, concerning. Let's see, did we get photos of the VIN stickers in here? So I see one on the driver's side. Didn't see one on the passenger, but given that there's the dent there, I'm going to assume that it's fine. All right, moving to the undercarriage. Looks really wet under here. Either they just drove it through some rain, so it's going to be hard to kind of tell what's oil leakage and what's not. I do note that this cover here is missing this little inspection cover. It's good to see at least that the front skid plate's there. It does look pretty rusty and crusty. I do see some corrosion on the lower control arms. And it's really hard to tell if anything's leaking from like the steering rack or the CV axles, but they more or less seem like they're intact. A little bit better shot of the corrosion here. Like most of this doesn't look too scary. What does look scary at this little bump stop, you can see how it's like flaking. Yeah, that's a sign for me to get the hell away. I know some people that's maybe not a big deal. This back tray is fiberglass, so you can see it's cracked here. Can't really tell. I do see I think these are where it mounts. You can see there's not. Let's see, how does this attach? I'm trying to remember. So yeah, there's these ones. There's these front points. And I think they're out of frame. There's another spot like right here and right over there, and then obviously out here at the end, but. Anyway, looking at the undercarriage here and the frame rails where the torsion bar is attached, this is not good in my opinion. You can also see the globes for the adjustable height control. They're corroded. You can see corrosion on the seams on the underside of the body. The fuel tanks, gross. Corrosion on the skid plate. You can see corrosion on the transfer case, housing. Yep. This is a hard pass for me based on corrosion. Pretty light on the pictures, to be honest. I would love they didn't show really the rear differential. Makes me think that, again, generally the corrosion gets worse as you work your way to the back of the vehicle. So not having those photos is a huge red flag in my opinion. There's that VIN sticker on the passenger fender. I mean, them asking, the mileage is great, obviously. Based on what we saw at vehiclehistory.com, that they're asking between 30 and 35,000. That's way too much. I'm surprised, to be honest. It's already bid up to 20. Sure, the mileage is low. And, maybe the use case for this is, somebody that's already in the Rust Belt and, like they've just accepted that their cars are going to be destroyed. So, I'm assuming that's where this is going to end up. Nobody from a rust-free state is going to buy this, in my opinion. I don't know, because of the mileage, some Yahoo's going to pay like 28 grand. I don't think they're going to get 30 and 35. I don't think, for that matter, I think the corrosion's going to scare people away, or it should. And because of that, it's not going to hit reserve. I think we've got a seller here that wants more money than what it's worth. So that's my thought. That's my opinion. It's pretty much worthless. But I appreciate you taking the time to check this out. Let me know what you think. Am I on, off? But that's what I think. We'll see. We'll see where this one ends up. Anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your Land Cruiser addiction, and I'll see you next time.